Hello and welcome to STW's fourth training video on CoDeSys version 3. This fourth video is going to cover some common problems that you might run into while working with CoDeSys or trying to flash or log into your controller. One of the first things we'll talk about is trouble communicating with the gateway when you're trying to set the program up to log in. So if we go to SX3XL and communication settings, sometimes if you click gateway and scan network, it may not find your controller on the network. There's a few things that could cause this. One is a bitrate mismatch in your CAN setup. So a mainboard CAN 1, if your bus rate is set to say 500 or 250 or something other than 125, and your gateway config file is set to 125, that will be a mismatch and it won't be able to communicate. Those have to match to be able to communicate with the gateway properly and get the connection for login to your controller. So that's one thing, is to check your bit rate, make sure there's not a mismatch. Another problem is if there are multiple programs running that may be using the CAN bus, like a CAN monitor or something that's actively on the bus that might be interfering with the messages, or taking up one of the networks that you're trying to communicate on with the CAN dongle. Another problem that you could run into in that same thing is if your program is not even running on your controller, there will be nothing for the gateway to connect to. So if it's not connecting, you might want to check to make sure that your controller is actually on and running. And in this example that we've created here, our little project, we had that LED that was changing color to let you know that the program is still running. So if that's not happening, either check your power connections or check PLC PRG to make sure that you did all this initialization properly. For instance, you set the staying alive variable on and you set the relays on, etc. So those are some things to check for that, to make sure that your program is actually running for the gateway to connect to. Another problem if your program isn't running is maybe you didn't flash the hex file with the runtime system first. If you never flash that and you just flash the application only hex file, then the program won't run because there's no runtime system on the controller for it to run on top of. So you have to do that at least once to get the runtime system on the controller before you can just flash the application to it. Let's see, one more issue is that if you don't have CAN termination on your bus properly, say 120 ohms or 60 ohms for bench testing would be fine, across CAN high and CAN low. If that's not in place, you're not going to get proper CAN communication and the gateway won't be able to connect to the controller. So make sure your CAN termination is there before trying any communications. So these are just some of the common problems you can run into. There are more, but these are the common ones that we see a lot. In a later video, we'll probably go more in depth on some of these and go over some more details about CoDeSys and writing programs with our libraries. So thanks for watching the videos, and please contact STW support if you have any questions. Thank you.